Hello, readers. Mr. Laval here. Wanted to talk to you about how to read an article and demonstrate comprehension by answering questions. Um, we had talked a lot in class about the main reason we read. And the main reason that we read is to understand and to comprehend. And from a comprehension standpoint, one of the ways that we can show what we've read and what we've learned is by answering questions. So today, our activity is going to be reading a short passage called The Magic Glasses, and then answering some questions to show that we understood what the passage was about and we can answer questions. I want to just take a few minutes here to give you some strategies and tips about reading an article and answering comprehension questions. Okay. One thing that I like to do when I'm reading an article that I know has questions at the end is sometimes I may just do a preview of the article and I may look at the title, kind of skim it, see what it's about, see if there are any pictures. Notice that there's a lot of dialogue in this text. Um, and then I go to the questions, and sometimes by reading the questions or looking at the questions, it gives my brain a focus on what's some of the information I'm going to be looking for. So maybe looking at this first question, question one: Violet visits the eye doctor after her glasses break. What happens when she visits the eye doctor? Okay, so I know this story is going to be about glasses, going to an eye doctor, and maybe that helps frame my brain to look for some of this information as I read. Another thing that I also like to think about when I'm reading a passage such as this or doing an activity such as this, I also want to see what type of questions I'm going to be answering. A lot of these are going to be multiple choice, where I'm picking the best answer from 4 different choices. And then towards the bottom, I am going to do some open-ended short answer questions. So again, just getting my body and brain ready for the types of questions that I'm going to be answering to demonstrate my comprehension. Now, when I start reading, I want to think about really good reading skills. Number one, if something doesn't make sense, I want to make sure that I'm rereading, slowing down, using all of my great reading strategies. So making sure that I'm understanding what the text says, that's a really important part. I might even stop and retell in my brain what's happening from page to page or paragraph to paragraph. Another thing that you can do, another strategy I like to use when I'm reading is highlighting. If I find some important information, see if I can highlight here. If I find some important information, I can highlight. On markup, you guys can highlight important information. So if there's something you want to remember, maybe highlight it because it was important and you think it is a big part of the text. So again, rereading, highlighting, using all of your reading skills of if you are approached with unknown words, use those reading strategies of maybe skipping it and coming back to it, using context clues to see if you can understand the meaning of it. But all of those are going to be important when reading an article such as this. Now, when you get to the questions, and if you read a question and you don't know the answer automatically, great reading strategy is to go back to the text and reread it and find it. So when I read and answer questions such as this, I read the question. If I know it right away, perfect. I can lock in my answer. If I need to go back to the text, I'm constantly going back to the text. And it's what really great readers do, is read the question, go back to the text to prove that your brain is right or find the correct answer. So again, today your job is going to be to read a short article and answer questions. By answering questions, we demonstrate that we understand what we read and we show that we are comprehending. And that's the main point of reading. So use those little tips and tricks. Enjoy an article on the story on the magic glasses and wow me by answering those comprehension questions correctly and show me what you learned about today. Hope you enjoy the short story. Can't wait to see your answers. Thanks, readers.